Okay, I need everyone to say it with me. Just because a plot is fast paced, it does not mean it's good, and it does not mean that it was gripping. And I think we need to start talking about having a good protagonist. Now, this video was originally going to be about me talking about two protagonists, one from The Alchemy of Secrets and one from a the best anime ever made, actually, called The Vision of Escaflowne. That protagonist I love, and I love how she's utilized in the plot. She is genuinely amazing. This protagonist in this book is one of the dumbest people I have ever met. And but I can't really call her a passive protagonist. That's right. I was going to talk about the passive protagonist. Now, what a passive protagonist is a character that the things happen to. Like, it doesn't matter what they do or what they say, and it feels like they don't really say or do anything. Things just happen around them, and they're just there for the ride. They feel like they're the NPC, but really they're the character that you see the whole story from. Like, you're there with her no matter what for the entirety from page 1 to page like 320 or whatever this book ended up to be. This book is written by Stephanie Garber, and it is a book I was looking forward to reading because people liked her previous books, but I hated this book. And I think I can genuinely say this is the worst book I've read in 2026 and is only January 25th. Let's get right into it. So, Alchemy of Secrets. It starts with a class in an old movie theater. Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths, taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, who can supposedly tell you when you'll die, the world finally makes sense. Except that the Watchman tells her she will die at midnight tomorrow unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical heart. With the clock ticking, Holland is pulled deeper into this magical world in the heart of Los Angeles and into the path of a magnetic stranger. Everything about him feels like a bad idea, but he promises Holland that her sister sent him to protect her. As they chase clues and stories that take them closer to the alchemical heart, Holland realizes everyone in this intoxicating new world is lying to her, even this stranger, and if she can't figure out whom to trust, not even the alchemical heart will save her. And this is the dazzling premise set in the dazzling setting of Los Angeles and Hollywood. We have this character who is told she's gonna die, and she needs to find this thing that people have been trying to search for decades, centuries, millennia, I don't know. And she's gonna try to find it in one day. That's right, 24 hours. This book takes place over 24 hours. Now, I want you to think about that. Have you ever watched a movie that's like, oh, in 2 days, in one day, so and so is going to happen. You need to, do something about that. And you think, holy crap, how are they going to do that? And it just bam, 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 the action is nonstop. And you're like sitting there, like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Now, that kind of happens with this book, but it's not due to the fact that the plot is any good. It's due to the fact that the the protagonist Holland St. James is so stupid that I kept reading to see what stupid choice she will make next. And by stupid choice, I mean, does she trust the man? She does. And does she listen to this character who we think like who she knows she can't really trust? She does. So we keep reading and we keep trying to find out what is this girl gonna do next? What is this dumb ass bitch gonna do next? Because holy crap. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me explain to you everything that happens. I didn't take any notes for this. This is probably just a ramble, but I literally just finished this book like 2, 3 hours ago. I had a full dinner, and I'm here with a clear head to tell you why I hated this book. But I just had to finish because, again, I need to know what other dumb thing this girl's gonna do next. Okay, so it kind of starts out with a date. Holland St. James is on a date with this guy named Jack or Zach or something. She nicknames him Clark Kent. And we're just going to be like, okay, this guy's just super hot and like buff or whatever. So they go on a date and she says she sees something that reminds her of the class that she took, Folklore 517. And she's like, oh, I think I know what this is the watchman. He'll tell you what time you're gonna die, what day, what time you're gonna die, and what you can do to kind of like prolong that. Now, usually the watchman tells you stop smoking, stop drinking, start taking walks and exercise, or else you're gonna die at this exact moment. Very innocuous and like, healthy advice, sound advice. But when she gets the call from the watchman, he tells her you have to find this magical object or else you're gonna die. So she is panicking. Girl is like, I don't want to die yet. So she does a few things. She Oh, actually, before she can do anything really, she gets a call. She gets a call from the guy that she went on a date with, and he says, "Hey, I was told that I'm gonna die in like 30 minutes. Can you come here so I don't like I'm not alone? Like I this might be a joke, but like I don't feel, good being alone right now." And she's like, "Yeah, sure, sure." And so she gets to his house and he says, "So the watchman said, if I don't want to die tonight, I have to kill you." And obviously she's like, okay. She takes a step back and like, I don't feel comfortable being in your house right now. And I forgot exactly what happened, but like she leaves or like she goes somewhere for like 2 seconds or whatever. She turns back and like he's dead. There's like a knife wound in the back. And she's like, oh my God, what the hell? And for some reason, but before this, he tells her, "Oh yeah, I was sent here to date you and find out who you are and stuff." And she's like, "What the fuck?" So she goes into his house and's like, "I know I should be calling the cops right now, but like, what? Like, she was sent here to spy on me? That's weird." Like, you know. And she finds a dossier file, and this dossier file is on her, and is like, "Oh, what is she like? Where does she go? Where does she hang out? Like, all of this stuff." And she's like, admittedly, very freaked out. She leaves and she tries to get in her car. Her car is dead, and another car, pulls up right next to her car and says, and this guy, Gabe, he's like, "Get in. Your sister sent me. Um, like blah blah blah." And she's like, "Dude, I'm not gonna get in. I don't know who you are. Like, prove that my sister sent you." And so he gives her, I think, a letter with Holland's handwriting. And so that's like enough proof, but also like she knows, she's like, okay, I do have to leave because the neighbors are heard some commotion and there might be cops coming, and like I can't be here right now because I'm gonna die tomorrow, and I can't fix that if I'm in jail. So all of this makes sense upright. And so they go on the lam basically, um or they go find the professor's house, because Holland St. James is like, okay, this sounds like something my professor talked about or may have alluded to, the alchemical heart, and like maybe some of her files and her notes, like her journal, for instance, like she might have something. And so they're like, okay, let's go. And when they get to the professor's house, they bump into this guy that Holland had like a very short interview with. It's like a TA at the university. She's a grad student. She's a TA at the university that's apparently taken over um taken over the professor's role as her like thesis supervisor, faculty member, whatever. And like he like basically TLDR told her, "Oh, don't write this, like this is crazy." Her thesis is crazy, but we'll get into that. And so they bump into the guy, and then this guy's name's Adam, and he's like, "Hey, your sister sent me to protect you, I promise." And then Holland just like, he Gabe just said the same thing. Like, what the fuck? And then a shootout, like Adam shoots Gabe. Gabe shoots back at Adam, and then Gabe is like, "We have to go now." And Holland's like, but he's literally bleeding." And then he's like, "No, we have to go." And then she's like, "All right, fine, whatever." So they leave. They get to her house because earlier in the day she got like a package, that is like she got a package from someone and whatever. So she takes the package and she opens it up and she's like, "Oh my god, it's professor's journal. It's the journal." Um and then she like tries to find like little hints or whatever clues. And so after this, some intruders come to the house, so they leave and they went to an Airbnb that Gabe rented. And there's like some moments of like romantic tension or whatever, or sexual tension between the two characters. And they are like, "Okay, well, tomorrow." I am filling in the gaps because again, this is a very fast-paced book. But anyway, the next day they sleep, and the next day they go to this like alchemy magic bank. It's called like the Grand Centennial Bank or something, and she has an appointment there to open up a security deposit box that she thinks her dad opened up for her. Um, and she has to go before a certain date or else they're gonna like destroy the contents of the box. So she goes there. She finds out that the manager of the bank is actually the professor who like disappeared under like mysterious circumstances, and we still don't really know who she is, by the way. This book has so many like open loose ends, plot holes, and I definitely think it's because like she's setting up for a second book, even though the front of this book says a novel, which usually means this is a standalone and is not a series. But anyway, she talks to this professor. Professor tells her, "You can't trust Gabe. He killed his wife because he wanted her magic powers or whatever." And then Holland was like, "Oh my god." And again, like we can't really at this point they make it very clear that the people who work at the bank are like you can't trust them, like they're kind of evil. But she's like, "Oh well, this is my professor, so like I believe her." Anyway, she opens up the deposit box and it's like a script from her dad, who used to be like this famous director and screenwriter who like famously got murdered by Holland's mother over like I don't know, a sanity break. I have no idea, but Holland thinks like they made a deal with the devil to be famous, and because they couldn't pay back that deal, the parents had to die. And that's her thesis, by the way. Insane. Like she's like, "I'm gonna prove the devil exists." Like I'm like straight faced. She's like, "I'm gonna prove the devil exists. That's my thesis." Like, okay, sure. That's what we do for theses. That's what we do in grad school. Anyway, so she's told she cannot trust Gabe. So she's like, she turns to the manager, the professor, and is like, "Gabe is right outside this bank." And we switch to the next chapter. And then she's like, "I don't know why I told them that." And me sitting there going, "Yeah, why did you tell them that?" Like, I'm not saying, "Oh, you should trust Gabe," but I'm like, why are you trusting the professor? Why are you trusting anyone right now? Like, we're from the first to whatever the point at what point this book was at, everyone is to not be trusted is like literally what she should like. This is the line of thought that should be going through her head at all times is, "I cannot trust anyone." Okay, but sure, whatever. She so but also when comes into this bank, like the first like thing, like someone tells her like, "Oh my god, your sister's like so famous. Like she's like one of the coolest like agents of this bank." And her partner, Adam, do you remember the TA? Adam, like Adam's her partner. So she's like, "Oh, Adam is my sister's partner? Well, I trust my sister, so," and she clearly trusts him because Adam knows the truth of their parents, who they don't tell anyone. They like pinky swore and stuff. But anyway, she's like, "Okay, if Adam knows the truth about our parents," and by the way, at this point, like multiple characters know who their parents are. Like it's an open secret. I feel like only I feel like she thinks that no one else knows, but like everyone knows. So anyway, so we have the professor and we have that random girly at the bank that tells her, "Don't trust Gabe. You can trust Adam though." Well, one of them says you can trust Adam, implied. And so she's like, "Okay, shit, I have to run from Gabe." And so she leaves the bank. She leaves the bank, and then her classmate from the same class drives up to her. And you're gonna, this is a recurring thing, by the way, drives up to her outside the bank, is like, "Get in." And then Holland's like, "Girl, what the hell? You work with them?" And then like the friend is like, "Yeah, I can't really tell you about it, but like, just get in." So she gets in, and like they drive, and so Holland has this magical key that she remembers from another one of the classes that she one of the lectures of the folklore class. It's like, "Oh, there's a hotel that only shows up." Well, she doesn't know that this yet, but her friend tells her, "Oh, there's a hotel that only shows up if you have a key to the hotel." And so she's like, "Okay." Like a billboard shows up for the hotel, and her friend's like, "Oh my god, you have a key!" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess so." And she pulls it out, and then her friend's like, "Well, I guess I'm taking you to the hotel. Like, this is the only place that like that's kind of like, you know." Actually, I don't even know why they go to the hotel. They just go because it shows up, I guess. Another recurring thing. Things just happen. Things just happen without any like rhyme or reason or any like. She has no motivation to go to this hotel, but like they do. Anyway, she goes to the hotel. Oh, also, in the security deposit box, it is a, yeah, the script, right? And in the script there are little like handwritten notes, like it shows in the book. Let me see if I can try to find it, actually. I can find the script so I can show you, but it's like really obvious that uh like it's there and you can't not miss it. Like, it's like, "Oh, this is the script that she found," and it's not focusing, but there's like a handwritten section, and like she just ignores it. I don't know. I don't think she ignores it, but she just doesn't like. No, no, yeah, I think she just ignores it. She just ignores. She just like just makes no comment about it. She just like reads it, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Even though she knows that like at this point she's like, "Oh yeah, my dad loves." Like when he was still alive and I was like a little kid, he loved doing these little treasure hunts with me, like little scavenger hunts with little clues so she can find stuff. And like, this is obviously like a clue, a scavenger hunt, treasure hunt that she needs to go on, and she just doesn't look at it. She doesn't comment on it. Anyway, um, in this script, it says like the Watchman is a character in the script, and she's like, "Okay, like I guess that's where I need to go, but I don't know where he is." And so she bumps into Adam Bishop at this hotel, who is here for some reason. I don't really know. And he tells her, "Come with me because uh you're not a registered like key owner of this hotel. And if you're not a registered key owner, you get like kicked out and banned." But like Adam obviously is a registered key owner, so he's like, "Put her in my as a guest so she can stay here for like 24 hours." And so they do, and they talk and basically recap everything. And then Adam's like, "No, no, like I really wasn't by your sister." And he has like a brother, not really important, okay, but he has a brother, and well, the brother is important, but like at this point it's not really important. But and he's like, "Well, I know where the Watchman lives, I can take you there." And she's like, "Okay, bet." And they go, and by the time they get to the Watchman literally, so this guy is like a supernatural magical guy, and he like basically knows the future. Like he's really good at that, and he made it so that Adam would drink this specific teapot, and that would knock him out for a few minutes. And he's like, "All right, he's asleep." And then he tells Holland, "Do not give Adam the alchemical heart. He's one of the devils. He's one of the devils that your thesis is literally about." And then she's like, "Oh my god. Oh my god." And she's like, Why can I but but then after Adam wakes up, he's like, "You're lying to me. Like, um, uh." like he said something to you while I was knocked out, huh?" And she immediately folds. She doesn't even go like, "No, I swear." Like she does a little bit, but she's like, and he's like, "No, you're lying." And he's like, "Right, okay, so blah 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 blah." Blah. So she spills everything. She spills everything, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, like I used to be one of the devils, but like that was my brother, like my brother's idea when we were younger. Like my dad said, um whoever could do like some like whoever is the most powerful magical whatever being by the end of whatever, he will pass on his inheritance to that kid." And so the brother, like his thing is Mason was like, "Oh, hey Adam, why don't we team up together and create sort of like this supernatural being called the devil in LA, and then like make up rumors that people who make deals with us get super powerful and like popular, and if they don't pay us back, like they die." And like we aren't really given a reason why they did this, by the way, other than like notoriety, I guess, and like maybe some influence, but even then it's like they're just two dudes, and at this point I don't believe they had magical powers. Like they had to inherit it from the father. And if someone magical in their family like dies, that it goes immediately to the next heir. And so for some reason, like for like Adam's like very vague here at this point about like what happened. But anyway, something happened, and then the dad found out about their little scheme thing, and Holland rightfully points out, but like, "Oh, wasn't it for your dad though, like to be the devil?" And he's like, "Yeah, but like we didn't think anyone would die." And like obviously implying people died, and like the dad was not okay with this. And then the dad dies after finding out, and then Adam's like, "Yeah, my brother killed him to get all of the powers." And in order to like stop him from like wreaking havoc on the world, I have no idea what happened here, but that was his reason. He's like, "I made it so that he couldn't leave this one hotel." And Holland just goes like, "Yeah, yeah," like she believes everything. She is just so naive. Like she believes everything everyone is telling her. She doesn't think for a second like, "Okay, things are not adding up." Right? Things are not adding up, and Adam has lied. He has not been very forthcoming about everything that he is, like who he is. He doesn't even tell her how old he is. And like the Watchman, who I think is the most neutral party here, is telling her this is the devil. And like this guy, the Watchman knows everything. And I'm like, why you can not? It's like you trust this man enough to tell you you're gonna die by midnight on Halloween, but you don't trust him to tell you like this guy's evil. Like, come on. So anyway, she's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll keep trusting you." And so they figure out some more clues from the script, which by the way, she actually comments on this in the book. She's like, "Oh, now that I'm reading the script clearly, all of the clues for where the Watchman lives is right here in this script." After the fact. And I'm like, "Okay, am I supposed to be uh impressed here? Like you got the answer and now you're figuring out what clues led to that answer? Like that this is not." Anyway, they go to another location that is hinted at in the script, and they bump into like one of Holland's friends from the class, who actually is like a pretty famous actor, and he like obviously like he really doesn't like Adam for some reason. And the book kind of plays this off as like, oh, like jealousy, romantic jealousy kind of thing, but like he has like a really good reason why he doesn't like Adam, and it's not like told just yet. But he's like, and then she's like, "Dude, trust me, I need you to get this girly out of the studio because I need to go and search it for like one of my dad's things. Like it's really important, okay?" Like he's like, "All right, fine, I'll trust you, but you have to tell me everything that's going on after all of this." And she's like, "I promise." And so he helps her, and she goes into this studio like office, and she finds like this like holding slip, and this holding slip is like a really old like rental slip, back when you wanted to like borrow a prop from the library of props that they have at the studio, and like you would get that slip. And so when they get the slip, a girly comes in, and that used to be her dad's like first wife, um and like this is when Holland sees Adam's like powers for the first really time. Like it happened before, but she just thought, oh, he's just super charming and he can get anyone to believe him and love him and everything. But for like this time she sees like, oh my god, like he can erase memories and rewrite them and like tell them and do whatever he wants and say whatever he wants to get the other person to do whatever he wants, right? And so they get out of this studio and they go find someone who can help them like find the thing that is on the slip. And so a guy like shows it to him, a guy, they find a guy, and the guy's like, oh, it's not here, like someone else borrowed it. And so they go somewhere else, and they find it, but then they have to go hide because Gabe walks in and is like, and also I feel like it has the same powers as Adam. Like this is not explained yet. Like maybe in the sequel, but I'm not gonna read it because I don't care enough. But anyway, he walks in and is like, oh, and he sees the book, which is chained up, and he somehow has the key to open up the chains. Again, we are not given any kind of reason as to why he would have this. So he opens up the chains and is like, oh, there's nothing in the book. So he leaves. Then Adam and Holland, they come out of their hiding spot and they see, and they're like, oh my god, what is this? And like there's like more stuff in the book, I think, that helps her find out like where the actual alchemical heart is. And so she's like, oh my god, it's here at the hotel, the Roosevelt Hotel, and which is a real hotel, by the way. You can go find it up. And they're like, okay, we're gonna go into this hotel and we're gonna find the alchemical heart right before midnight. And so they both go, they dress up and they go in. And then Gabe also shows up too, which, by the way, how does he know where to go? Like, I feel like he is just like following them, right? Like, it has to be the only reason, right? And he shows up. And by the way, this is like the last time we see him. Like, he is never mentioned again after this, okay, or we don't see him again. He is mentioned, but we don't see him again. And so they split up because Adam's like, let me take care of Gabe and you go find the alchemical heart and I'll come find you. And she's like, all right, bet. And so she goes to find it, and she goes to like an area alluded in the script, and she goes to find it. And then ta-da, Mason, Adam's brother, shows up and is like, yo, we've had this conversation many times. And then Holland's like, hold up, what? And it's because throughout this whole journey in the book, she's been getting like huge nosebleeds, and like no one is explaining to her why, because they don't know why. Like they're like, why do you keep bleeding so much? And she's like, I don't know. And so this time, Mason, the guy, has all the freaking answers. He's like, so yeah, we've had this conversation so many times, and the visions that you're seeing, because actually throughout this whole book, sometimes she'll see Gabe as Adam and sometimes she'll see Adam as Gabe. And he's like, yeah, it's because you've been down here doing like little variants, but you've come to the same place each time. Whenever you die here, and you do die, whenever you die, time resets and you wake up Halloween Eve. And sometimes you go with Gabe in the car, sometimes you don't. You go with Adam. Sometimes you go with Adam, sometimes you go with Gabe. And all of your nosebleeds are because you've experienced this so many times. Like someone, and again, we are not given the answer to this. Someone has done something in which if you die, time will reset. Okay. And he says, Adam's the one who kills you. And Holland's like, and we actually get a little page in here that says, she's like, oh, like how, oh yeah. Page 299. Holland wanted to be more shocked by Mason's warning about his brother, but if she actually paused to think about it, she just felt incredibly stupid for ever trusting Adam. And I'm like, yeah, I know you didn't think. There were you didn't think at all. There was no thinking. Throughout this entire book, there was no thought going through your head. So anyway, blah blah blah. Things happen. She wins. Not important what happens in the end. It's not even. It's not even that. Like whatever. Like I just feel it's such a nothing burger. This plot is such a nothing burger. So then anyway, at the end, she wins. Okay. And then at the end of the book, we kind of like allude to like a sequel, which I'm like, I hate this book for so many reasons. Okay. One, I think it's disingenuous to write a novel and make it so that this book leaves out so much detail, no, so much important plot stuff that just like it felt like it wasn't even thought about thoroughly before she just wrote it onto the page, just because you're like, I want to write a sequel, but it depends on how good the first book is. And also I saw online that apparently there was like an interview or like on Stephanie Garber's like Instagram or something, like something was alluded to that this book has already been picked up for TV. And so I'm like, that makes sense. One, because the pacing for this book is actually insane, but also every time a chapter ends, the next chapter picks up exactly where the last chapter ends off. So it feels like the chapter breaks are not even really chapter breaks. They're just like mini cliffhangers that don't do anything. Like they don't move to a new scene or new location or have a new conversation with a new character. It literally just picks up where they left off. Like it's so unnecessary. This book sucks. And don't like okay, and now we're gonna get into the meat of it. Holland St. James has the personality of a naive girl in her teens, not like in a mature adult in her mid to late 20s. She again is a grad student writing her thesis, and it feels like she is so young and untouched and just like, and it doesn't make any sense for her to be like this because she lost her parents for at a very young age, had a twin sister, was raised by an aunt and an uncle. Like she put herself, like she went through college, she did everything, like you know. And you're like, this girl is just a very privileged white girl. Like she thinks everything's okay. Like even though when things are like screaming at her in her face saying that you should not trust this person, she's like, but they like were trusted by my sister, so it's okay. I mean, at least Gabe had like a handwritten letter versus Adam just gets trust me, bro. Literally. Like what is this? I hate this book. But yeah, like she is a passive protagonist, but none of a lot of things I feel like would not go the way it did if she actually was like not stupid. I like things are happening because she's stupid and she doesn't think. And that's why I don't I'm like she's not really a passive protagonist even though things just happen to her. She just happens to like find things. Like her sister is an omniscient like god for somehow because like she left things at Holland's apartment that would lead her to the truth. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. And like even her last thing, so I will actually talk about the ending. So the ending is the alchemical heart is from a world where objects are sentient. So if you want the object to do something, you have to be very precise with your words and tell them what you want. And then if they like you, they'll do it. Um, we don't really get like the book telling her like he doesn't like her. So we just assume that he does like her. And I say he because he manifests as a man. Um, and when she's like about to die because of Adam, Mason has to tell her exactly what to say or else she won't like, you know, heal, which is like fine the first time because she doesn't know how to do it yet. But he has to help her say the like what she needs to say many times before like everything is fixed. Even up to the very freaking end, she cannot help being led by someone to do something. Like none of it is from her. Okay. And then her very last act with the alchemical heart is to repeat what her dad told her in like a little note on the script, which by the way, she again ignored the first time. And he says, give it like, or he says like, oh, when this is something that people need but do not want, and they only want once, they only need once. So she tells the alchemical heart, you need to hide and show up in the future for someone that needs you and is kind and won't use it for bad. And so that's how like the book has constantly disappeared and appeared over the years, like whatever. So yeah, that's the whole book. And I just like, what a nothing burger book. What, like, this is so infuriating. Just, and also the romance was really bad. Like, it was so bad. No, I don't think everything needs romance. I think this book, it did not need romance because not only was like Holland, like her inner thoughts whenever she thinks about romance is like such, like she feels like she's a teenager. She does not feel like an actual adult. She's like, oh my god, a kiss, I want it again or more. And then she never thinks about it anymore. um and then like I just like didn't it was just like so weird and out of place. Like these people literally have only known each other for like less than 24 hours, and she's like, "Ah, yes, sign me up, you're hot." Like that was the whole like what is up with her? Genuinely, it's like she's never talked to an adult in her life. um so yeah, I didn't care for that. And oh yeah, last thing, this has gone on for a long time, but last thing, okay. This book, I thought at first it was like, okay, they're going somewhere with this, and it's gonna be a plot twist. Like these two people are actually the same person, and there's like a doppelganger. Like I was like, oh, hell yeah, hell yeah. That's exciting. No, 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 no. It just happens because I think this author generally has no imagination, creativity. So Gabe can open up cars and drive them without needing a key. Gabe can charm people and get them to do what he wants. Adam can charm people and get them to do whatever he wants. Adam can also open up cars without a key and get them to start. Both men, please trust me. Uh, your sister sent me to protect you. One actually has some kind of proof. The other does not have any proof whatsoever. Actually, so these things happened. And there were like two or three scenes where someone says like, "Get in the car," and I'm like, and you know when they were doing like, oh yeah, this is actually a time loop. I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense because this is within the same time stream, right? It's not like a loop. It's not like she died, we don't know about it, and then she experienced it with someone else. No, these are the same character. There's two different characters in the same time stream, the same time, not a loop, that this happens to, like to her. And you're like, nothing happens in this book. Anyway, let this be a kind of like lesson, I don't know, about how we need to write better protagonists and better plot. Because if you remember from the beginning of this video, I was going to talk about the anime Vision to Escaflowne or Vision of Escaflowne. And the reason why I really like that one is because the protagonist, she is she's introduced to us as a track and field athlete at her high school. She's very good at running. She's very good at doing long jumps, right? Um, there's one scene where she needs to make a big jump so that she can warn a character of another, like, of an attack. And instead of like freaking out about the jump, because this is unique to her, okay, it's unique to only like a few people. She's very athletic and she knows how to do a long jump. So when she sees the gap that she needs to jump over, she goes, this gap is between 5 to 6 meters, and my best jump was 5.5 meters. And she makes that jump with full confidence. She's amazing. She's amazing. And I was watching this anime as I was reading this book. And I wanted to make this video because I was like, this is why I don't like Alchemy of Secrets. She is not special. And I don't mean in like, oh, she has magic powers, which she does, of course, by the way. I mean in the sense that there's nothing unique to her that makes it so that this plot, like the actions in the plot, happens. Like, it could literally be anyone else that this happens to, and the plot would be unchanged. Versus in the anime, if we had a character that was not athletic, that did not know how to jump, and was very slow, had no stamina, we would have a very different plot. So I guess this is another masterclass of bad writing book video that I'm making, because if you are writing a book, make sure that your character needs to be that character in order for the plot to move forward. Because if that character can be interchangeable with any freaking random Joe, then your book isn't fun. Your book is not interesting. Also, I'm sorry if this webcam keeps zooming in and out. It's very annoying. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I think I would rate this book below First Time Caller. It is not good. I gave it a 1 out of 5 star. If I could give 0 out of 5, I would. Oh, actually, I'll stop with this. I'll end this video with one thing I liked. I did really like the little folklore and myth stuff that she made up. Stephanie Garber made up. Surrounding like Los Angeles. I think that was like really fun. I think if we had more of that, I would be really happy. Like, we only really get 2 or 3 myths or legends that are like, yeah, that were kind of fun, but they all had to like relate to Holland in some way, and I'm like, it was kind of boring. But in isolation, those stories were really fun. I really liked it. So yeah, maybe the second book will get better because like we'll finally meet her sister, because her sister was like absent in this whole book. Um but I still don't really care for it. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.